Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. So let's get straight to the point. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3. Who do I think will win this fight and why? Well, as you can see from the title of this video, I'm picking Tyson Fury to beat Deontay Wilder again. Now, you guys know that I've made some videos in the past, and I don't want to say I wasn't being overcritical of Tyson Fury, but I guess my, sort of the way I was saying things in that video was maybe a bit harsh to some, you know? And don't get me wrong, I still believe those things that I said in that video, right? About Fury being overrated, in my opinion, right? But in this video, I'm going to try and keep it more neutral for both fighters because I want to give an unbiased prediction for this. I'm not really a fan of Tyson Fury, and I'm not really a fan of Deontay Wilder, so, this is just from an unbiased standpoint. And, yeah, so let's get into it. So, I'm picking Tyson Fury to beat Deontay Wilder again because of the fact that I think Tyson Fury at this point is just a stylistic nightmare for Deontay Wilder. Now, with Deontay Wilder, you look at his past fights, at his past opponents, and you can see that, he's been fighting guys who are either shorter than him or the same height, right? But it's not only that, he's been fighting guys who do not move their head and who are stationary targets, right? So, he's been able to land that right hand on his opponents because none of them really move their head. The only one who actually did kind of move their head was Luis Ortiz, right? But Luis Ortiz, he was unable to get Wilder out there, right? He had Wilder hurt a couple times, right? He had him hurt once in the first fight, and he sort of stunned him in the second fight. It wasn't anything he didn't rock him or anything, but he kind of just stunned him for a bit. But obviously Wilder was able to find his mark eventually. And he was able to get the knockout. So you can see in his past fights, yet again against Dominic Brazil, Brazil didn't move his head. So stylistically, that's a good matchup for Wilder. And same with, Eric Molina, and other opponents. So with Tyson Fury, though, you look at Tyson Fury and you think, okay, well, he's known for having good movement, right? In the first fight, he was making Wilder miss a couple times, and in the second fight, he was making Wilder miss a couple times as well. So, I just think that alone, and the fact that Tyson Fury is also taller than Wilder, he's bigger than Wilder, he has a longer reach than Wilder. I think all those factors, they really determine this fight, right? Because, Fury defensively is quite good, right? He's not the best defensive fighter or anything, but, he's decent, right? Especially with his head movement. So, I just think it's going to be really difficult for Wilder to land that right hand on Fury in this fight. So, yeah, the thing with Deontay Wilder is his biggest weakness, and I've said this before, but a lot of people say that his biggest weakness is the fact that he can't box that well, right? But in my opinion, his biggest weakness is that he's not willing to learn how to box all that well, right? You've seen his past fights. He gets so comfortable with that right hand of his that he says, okay, well, screw it. I don't really need to learn how to box because you can outbox me for 12 rounds, but it just takes me that perfect moment to land the right hand, right? And it showed in the Ortiz fight, and it even showed in the first Fury fight. So, that being said, it's just, it's not good for Wilder, just not being able to box that well, right? So, and you fight someone like Fury who, I'd say is a better boxer than Wilder's other opponents, right? Then that shows that it's, yet again a stylistic uh, nightmare for Deontay Wilder. So, yeah. In terms of Tyson Fury, um, he doesn't have that many weaknesses going into this fight. I mean, the only weakness he really has is the power. I mean, a lot of people say he has increased his power, as shown in the second Wilder fight. But, I mean, in that fight, I don't think he really increased it by that much. Maybe by a bit, just because he put on weight and stuff. But it's more so just because he was hitting Wilder behind the head, right? Like that first knockdown he had against Wilder. That was a shot behind the head. Whatever you want to say about it, I mean, that's what it was, right? And he did that a lot of times. I mean, that's why I personally am not the biggest fan of Tyson Fury, is because of his dirty fighting that he utilizes in the ring, right? I mean, I've said that before, you know. Um, so I mean, I'd say that's his biggest weakness, is the fact that he doesn't hit that hard, right? For a heavyweight, anyway. I'm not saying he's the most feather fisted heavyweight in the division, right? I mean, I'd say someone like Usyk, he doesn't hit as hard as Fury, but still, I mean, for the heavyweight division, Fury doesn't hit that hard. I don't know if Fury has any other weaknesses. I think that's pretty much it. So, I mean, against Wilder anyway. I'm talking about against Wilder. Um, yeah, so how do I see this fight going? Well, I think Tyson Fury will win again. However, this time I think he will win a decision. I think it's going to be a very lopsided decision on Tyson Fury's end. And the reason I say that is because of the shape Wilder came into the rematch with, right? So he came into that fight in pretty bad shape, right? For some reason he put on muscle and weight. I don't know why he would do that, considering I personally think that Wilder fights better when he's at a slimmer weight. It's sort of like with Anthony Joshua as well. I think someone like Anthony Joshua fights better at a slimmer weight. I don't really think AJ needs to put on all this muscle and weight in his fights like he does usually. And I think that's the same thing for Deontay Wilder, kind of. So, and obviously there was that whole built-in excuse with the ring walk costume. Being heavy, like it was 40 pounds heavy, and it weakened his legs. Now, is there some validity to that argument? Well, there could be, right? Because I mean, it could weaken his knees. Um, but I think, me personally, I just think it's mainly the weight that he came into that fight with, right? So if he comes into this fight at a slimmer weight, at a more athletic weight, or athletic built, I mean, um, then, he has a chance of, not getting stopped this time around. I think he has a better chance of surviving a decision, at least. So, yeah. Um, do I think that increases Wilder's chances of winning? Kind of, but, I just don't see what Wilder really can do to, you know, like outbox Fury or land his right hand. Because if Fury comes forward in this fight, then he's not going to have that opportunity, right? Unless he counterpunches. But I mean, let's be honest, Wilder's not, he's never been the best counterpuncher in boxing, right? Um, and like I said, just with everything else, Fury's defense, his head movement, I really just don't see Wilder winning. I don't see Wilder exchanging with Fury. I don't see him fighting with Fury on the inside, or the outside. I mean, he has a better chance on the outside, but even then, it's still, I would still probably favor Fury for that. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else there is to say. I think Fury will win. I think he's going to win a lopsided decision. If I want to see anything, if there's anything I want to take from this fight, because I don't think this fight's gonna be that great, right? I don't think, to be honest, I think it's gonna be a very ugly, scrappy, dirty fight. I think there's gonna be a lot of holding, a lot of rabbit punching, a lot of illegal tactics used, even by Wilder, right? Because Wilder's also been a dirty fighter in the past, but mostly by Fury. But I mean, that's how I see it going. So, if there's anything I want to take away from this fight, I want to see both guys improve, right? I want to see Fury fight in a more dominant and clean fashion, right? And I want to see Wilder fight in a technical fashion, right? I want to see both these guys improve, and fight the way that they should fight. Because, like I said in the past, Fury and Wilder are not perfect fighters, and they, have a lot to improve on, right? So that's all I wanted. That's what I wish happens in this fight, I guess, right? Do I think it'll happen? Probably not. Just considering that Wilder never really learns how to box properly anyway. And with Fury, I mean, he never really fights clean, I mean, he's only fought clean in like one of his fights. And I think it was the first Deontay Wilder fight, but even then there was still some holding and some leaning and stuff in that fight and all that. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll be a good fight, but I don't think it will be. But like I said, we'll have to see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know who you guys think is gonna win. Do you think Wilder's gonna win? Do you think Wilder can win? Do you think Fury's gonna do it again? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I have Fury winning by, I'd say, unanimous decision. I think it's gonna be pretty lopsided. I could see Fury maybe dropping Wilder once, but yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. And yeah, that's it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all have a good day. Take care and peace.